Alright, here we are at Stuffy's in Longview, Washington, and we're going to try the 10-pound bear roll challenge. It's a 10-pound cinnamon roll. Only one person has ever finished it. He is Jamie the Bear McDonald. So today I'm going to try to be the second. Actually, you can spin it around.
That's crazy.
So let's see. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And, so it's an hour and 15.
Yep, hour 15.
All right. So do you have a timer?
We've got it over there. Just wait for you to start.
That's recording. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Go for it.
What's up, everybody? The day after tackling thaw in Hillsboro, Oregon, we drove 50 miles north from Portland into Longview, Washington. Longview is home to Stuffy's No. 2, a local diner with some giant food challenges. I'd been there before to tackle an 8-pound hash brown platter.
May I take a picture?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to send it right to you.
But this time I was looking for giant cinnamon roll glory. Stuffy's serves up an immense 10+ pound cinnamon roll known as the bear roll. It costs about $21, but if you can eat it in 75 minutes or less, it's on the house and you'll receive a t-shirt proclaiming your momentous victory. Only one person has ever completed this challenge solo, and that would be Jamie the Bear McDonald, the man that this cinnamon roll is named after. They don't call it the bear roll for nothing. You'll need the appetite of a bear or the tenacity of a bear, and there's a good chance you'll need to hibernate like a bear once the sugar crash hits you afterward. While actually eating this much cinnamon roll is ridiculous, you can't deny that the bear roll is a beautiful sight to behold. I'm impressed this diner found a way to make cinnamon rolls this big that still stand up and look like halfway decent cinnamon rolls. Stuffy's No. 2 makes an even more gargantuan cinnamon roll. That one's called the party roll, and it weighs over 20 pounds. Now, the party roll is not advertised as a food challenge, but rather a catering item, so that's why I settled on the more reasonable bear roll. Both the bear roll and the party roll require that you give the restaurant 24 hours notice, and they will take down your credit card information to make sure you don't stiff them. But the good news is it will be ready for you when you come to the restaurant to eat. The manager and the servers were excited to see me trying this challenge. It's the biggest one on the menu, and most challengers don't get very far from what they told me. In seriousness, this 10+ pound cinnamon roll is overwhelmingly delicious and almost indescribably sweet. It felt like I was just eating sugar from a bag. The middle of the roll contains an enjoyable gooiness under that thick layer of icing. The cinnamon flavor is potent and earthy, but it balances well with all that sugar, all that sweetness. My only gripe with the bear roll is how hard the outer edges become from the baking process. I embarked on a strategy of focusing on eating the hard outer edges first, believing that it would be easier to wear down the tough crust first, and I wasn't sure how I'd manage on that as I got towards the end. Black coffee was my friend on this challenge. It helped to cut down the sweetness, so it was a great flavor aid. But those tough outer edges did not moisten or soften easily. And to my horror, I soon discovered that the bottom crust, the very bottom part of the cinnamon roll, was also extremely tough. It wasn't crunchy, but it was at that point where it wasn't easy to chew either. This bear roll was starting to look like one of the hardest solo eating challenges I'd ever encountered. 75 minutes on the clock is generous, but sugar does interesting and painful things to your body. As time wore on, I decided to switch things up a bit and focus more on that soft center to get a break from the tough crust. It was refreshing, but by that point the sugar high was in full effect. I didn't feel full, but my body wasn't thrilled with all the sugar I was taking in here. After a bit, the icing began to taste sickening rather than enjoyable, and I had to switch back to the crust. Thankfully, the coffee is bottomless here at Stuffy's, but at this point I began to seriously question my decision to leave the icing towards the end. Looking back, it probably would have been a better idea to take down all that icing first while I was still hungry and fresh, and my body wasn't struggling with that sugar rush. The outer edges of this giant cinnamon roll remind me of a sweet pizza crust. It's not necessarily fun to eat, but at least you won't struggle with the overwhelming sugariness of the icing and the soft center on this cinnamon roll. Also, I think part of what makes this challenge so hard is that in order to bake the whole thing properly, the outside gets super hard, and the center of the cinnamon roll is also undercooked. And sometimes undercooked dough is a texture issue. It's hard to swallow that. I was okay with it at first, but towards the end not so much. The undercooked dough was feeling kind of gross, and I gagged a little bit. There will be no dynamite booming today. Around the 45-minute mark, with still a half hour to go, I realized that I wouldn't be finishing this mammoth bear roll. I wasn't full by any stretch, but I wasn't able to continue eating at a pace that was fast enough to complete this challenge in the time limit. That's what I meant when I said that sugar does weird things to your body. I didn't see any point in finishing this challenge after the time limit. So I accepted my fate. This is the first solo challenge that defeated me since the enormous mariachi burrito in Fresno. But I learned a lot from my defeat, and I will be back this summer for a sweet rematch against the bear roll. The people at Stuffy's No. 2 are awesome, and I can't wait to dine there again.
Do you have a particular place for fries
McDonald across the street.
Yeah, I can't force myself to eat it. It's pretty bad. When sugar is one of those things, when you've had like too much,
like it just like the body just says no.
Yeah. I'm not full, but I just can't eat.
I've been there.
Sugar is too much. A lot of sugar. Gotta go back and clean myself up.
Okay, pretty much done.
I think so. Realistically.
Sorry about that.
Should I move the mug so I can get it?
How you doing over here?
I have about 20-25 minutes left. It's not gonna happen.
Can't do it. You're doing so. This is the most I've ever seen anyone do.
I'm not full, but the sugar has gotten to the point where I almost can't swallow it.
Right.
Like it's,
We're all really impressed.
I mean, I can eat anything else right now, but this, I could eat a little more, but I'm not gonna finish it.
Right. Tapping out.
Yeah, we'll stop here.
Was it good?
It was great. It was excellent.
Awesome. I know it's all the cinnamon and stuff in the sugar.
Yeah, I know it's hard to make things oversized sometimes. The outside was hard.
Yeah.
The outside is very hard. The inside is very soft. And
It makes your jaw tired trying to chew the hard part.
I was working on the hard parts at first, and now in the end, the middle is almost like sickeningly sweet by comparison. So
Exactly.
yeah, so
We're all impressed.
delicious. Very good.
Thank you everyone for checking out this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or if at least you enjoy cinnamon rolls. Be sure to subscribe to Freak Eating today so you don't miss the other challenges I attempted in Oregon and Washington back in March 2019. I will be back in Washington State this summer, and I'm going to be visiting Utah as well. So there will be some more food challenges coming up soon. Until we meet again, stay in school, don't do drugs, and eat like a freak.